Hey you, so on this video, top reasons why a silver stacker stops stacking silver. I'm going to be giving the top reasons as to why a silver stacker would stop stacking silver. These ain't normally the most positive of reasons. So before we get into this, I'd love to say if you haven't done so already and you like what you hear, please do go ahead and subscribe. And also let me know your thoughts and opinions or anything you can add to this as to why you yourself have stopped stacking silver, or what you would have heard from somebody stacking silver, or somebody you may have heard of stop stacking silver. It's not going to be one of the reasons I mention here. And look guys, by no means is this video meant to deter you from stacking silver. It's just giving you an insight and even maybe hindsight. You know, they say the wise learn from other people's mistakes. So if you're starting stacking silver, if you've been stacking silver, this is from what I've heard personally from individuals stacking silver, and from what I've heard out there for why people have stopped stacking silver. So I'll jump straight into this. And if not to mention, if you have reached your silver ounce count, then this wouldn't normally count. That's a great thing, you know, for somebody to stop. I've reached, wanted 5,000 or 1,000 ounces and you reach that, done. That's a fantastic reason, you know, that's great. Mission accomplished, tick, double tick. So I'm going to get into a few reasons here and break them down. I'll be going over the top 6 reasons, we'll call it. So I'll be showing some of these pandas that came from the same suitcase. Now I don't believe these are moody, these ain't. I ran these through the precious metal verifier when I did have it in hand. So if you see anything that you think looks dodgy, please do let me know, but these have been verified to be silver and legitimate. So reason number 1 I'll say as to why a silver stacker would stop stacking silver abruptly is going to be because the price didn't rise as fast as they may have wanted it to rise. Now who knows why they got in the first place. If that was the case, it's normally not under a good not under good guidance that they got in. It could have been a nice glittery video screaming, you know, silver tomorrow 5,000, you know, high 3 digits or whatever, or they could have come across a pundit that they followed continuously and, you know, was told or was under the impression that silver was going to jump up in price. Now that doesn't happen, and the silver stacker in question can't take it no more and they pull the plug, they throw the white flag. It's happened a lot, you know. Some may admit it, the majority won't. You know, a lot of people don't seem to like talking about these things. I don't blame them. Who wants to look like the person that threw in the towel because they came in under the wrong, you know, guidance? And that just is what it is. You know, you have a lot of people out there that believe you're going to be seeing insane numbers in any asset. Insane numbers are thrown out there. It's insane until it happens. So we could just say that's the case for everything. But sometimes, and even with silver especially, a lot of people think that certain numbers cannot be achieved just because they can't. But everyone has their reasons for why and why it can't. But anything's possible at the end of the day. But the reason number 1 as to why a silver stacker stops stacking silver, and that's going to be because the price doesn't rise fast enough, or the price doesn't seem to be or look like it's going to be whatever they thought it was going to be when they first got in. Now, following up that number 1 there, it's going to be reason number 2. Another reason why a silver stacker quits stacking silver is because they end up doing their due diligence once they're fully committed. Now, what do I mean by that is, coming off of reason number 1, the price not rising fast enough, they then take it upon themselves to start investigating, looking into why the price isn't rising fast enough. Now, with anything you're getting involved in, especially when you're putting your blood, sweat and tears into it, your hard-earned fiat, you don't want to be researching about it once you're fully committed. You know, it's the last time you want to be doing your research or due diligence into something once you're fully committed, once you've gone in head first. But what ends up happening with silver is that they may have got into it under the wrong guidance and believe it's just going to be massive, not see that to be the case, start looking at other sources and other areas and even different pundits that ain't so pro silver. As somebody recently mentioned, a lot of the silver pumpers don't even own silver. You know, it's just beneficial for them to pump it and pump it and pump it because they're preaching to the choir. Silver is the metal of emotions, not to forget. And, you know, they get caught in that, the silver-tongued lies, and they end up doing their due diligence. But the last time you want to be doing your due diligence in silver is once you're fully committed, i.e. once you have reached your ounce count or once your silver stack is growing. You don't see that price coming, so you start looking into why it's not. A lot of the reasons end up being it's very volatile. You know, you need to look into why that's the case. It's manipulated. You need to look into why that's the case. You know, it's an industrial metal. It'll never be worth, you know, hard worth money cash. You need to look into why that's the case, and many other reasons. But these are things everyone and anybody should be doing before they're looking into, going heads or head first into silver stacking, especially because many pitfalls come with it in terms of premiums and just the longevity needed to really gain from it. Someone said it's a young man's game, and have you got the patience and the time to stick it out? But that's going to be reason number 2 as to why a silver stacker has stopped stacking silver. That's because they ended up doing their due diligence at the wrong time, and once that was done, they came across a lot of things they didn't like, especially being an owner of the metal, and they just pulled the plug, waved the white flag from there. So that's going to be reason number 2 as to why a silver stacker stopped stacking silver. Reason number 3 as to why a silver stacker would stop stacking silver is going to be because it's hard to store and transport in large volumes. Now, I mentioned large volumes because if this is all the silver you had, or even everything you see here, it wouldn't be too hard to store and transport, especially if you've got it in coins. Yes, bars can play a role, but when you're talking bars, you're always going to be dealing with the same weight. So 100 coins is always going to weigh the same as a 100-ounce bar, So when I say transport also, that could also be an issue. People end up finding this out when they're moving, or just, when you need to buy a bigger safe, which, not to forget, also adds on to your ounce count, or even have to buy storage. Yes, it comes with its benefits, but it's also costing you and increasing your ounce count at the end of the day. It can't be stored at home. Everybody needs to come up with their own, secret ways of how to store and even transport their own metals. But once you have to start adding more and more money, a place to house it, and is that costing you a monthly bill and the likes of, it can become very, very cumbersome. And this is what a lot of people find out at some point once they've got enough volume. So it's hard to store and it's hard to transport. If you're using a safety deposit box, you may need a larger box, depending on whether you've got coins, bars, or ounces. Coins have their benefits and bars have their benefits, jiggly, but the bars are more stationary. But once again, more mass, and you're dealing with the same weight in the end of the day. So that's going to be reason number 3 as to why a silver stacker stopped stacking silver. And that's going to be because it becomes very hard to transport and store once volume is achieved. Now, the next reason why a silver stacker has stopped stacking silver is going to be because they've been holding since 2011. Now, this is an issue because 2011 was a massive spike. It was a time when we saw the big shoot up in silver, and many people went running towards that because it was the good times. Somebody purchasing at $50, I believe what it peaked at, there was a lot of pumpers at the time screaming it was just the beginning. If you can imagine silver hitting $50 now, and just think of all the pundits or pumpers out there now that would be screaming, this is only the beginning, guys, back the truck up, we ain't even got there. And no one's saying they're wrong for doing that, because it could have been the time, but it just wasn't the time in 2011. And you had a lot of people put their savings in. Then it was the new kid on the block, not necessarily the new kid, but the new hype kid on the block. And they locked in them. And the bad thing about that is that you now have a lot of people where, if you've been stacking for the past 5 years, regardless of what it's done, either down or, would I say, more up, it's meant nothing to them because they're still way down in the red. So they've stopped stacking silver altogether because they purchased in 2011, and they're now trying to liquidate whenever they can, whenever we get a little pump. I was speaking with a dealer recently, and by no means, this is just the one dealer I was speaking with, so it's not speaking for all dealers in general. You'd need to ask your own dealer, but he was telling me in the recent pump he had more people selling than buying, and it was purely because they was liquidating what they purchased in 2011 because they've been down for so long. And not to forget, you're nowhere near the highs of 2011, but they've just had enough, and they're trying to make the losses as small as possible or not as large as possible. And that's what you end up happening and have right now. You have a lot of people that purchased in 2011 that are just down and they just want out, regardless of what it does. If it touched 50, I highly doubt that they would sit around and wait for 100. They already got caught in what they, perceive to be a bear trap, and they're not falling for it again. So you have a lot of people that are still in the red from the 2011 high, and that's why they stopped stacking silver. So that's going to be the next reason as to why a silver stacker stopped stacking silver. Now, the next reason would be because they believe that if they would have purchased gold at the time, they would have been in a better position than they are now, or not as far down in the hole as they are now. Now, for myself, if I would have purchased gold, and I did, luckily for myself, wasn't intended, I got in at a pretty good time. Silver was down there single digits in pounds, and it was a good time. I'm not down on my silver stack. I have inquired with certain dealers, which was interested on selling some of my stack, and when I have liquidated, I would have still struggled to break even, which was interesting because they just wasn't willing to pay the certain prices. I do wish I would have purchased a lot more gold at the time, and I know if I would have had more gold, I would have been in a much stronger position, because I know I would have got, and it would have been governmented ounce coins. I know I would have got exactly what I would have got now. I would have had all of the pluses and none of the negatives. Whereas it's with the silver, you'd get a dealer may not want that coin, or they've got too much in, so they'll take something else. Where if it was gold, at a set time, you're getting what you're getting, either 1 or 2% below spot, or just maybe a little, but none of the riffraff that comes with trying to liquidate some silver. So a lot of people believe they would have been a lot less, or a lot further, not as far down in the hole, if they would have purchased gold instead. And this is why they no longer purchase silver, and they're so hard on gold now, and that's definitely one of the reasons out there. So the next reason as to why a silver stacker stopped stacking silver is going to be because they've got the silver blues. I recently done a video, 2 videos are from this one, and it was titled something all silver stackers need, I believe. So this is the thing all silver stackers need. And in there I mentioned a practice that all silver stackers need, and that's patience. And this is what's happened when a lot of people have silver blues now. Not to forget, if we're doing a rundown here, if you've purchased believing silver was going to go up in price and it didn't, and you didn't do your due diligence, and you purchased in the 2011 highs, these are all things that's going to run somebody down and leave them depressed. And that's what you have when you have the silver blues. You're depressed. Silver goes sideways for long. Silver stays down for long and goes up for very short periods of time, and it can take its toll on people. You've had a lot of people that have sold at a massive loss just to cut their losses and jump out because they wanted out. I've seen it in cryptos, and I've definitely seen it in silver. And there's just no getting away from it. This is why you're going to need to be strong and know what you're getting into when you're getting into silver. But the blues catches up with you, and that's what they have. They just can't take it no more. You have the manipulation talk. You have the it should have done this talk. You have the we're going to break out talk. You have the Fed just cut the rates talk, and then you just get fed up with the talk and you get the silver blues. And that's what's happened with a lot of people. And this is why they no longer stack silver. These are things that just can't be avoided. But it's most definitely something that you need to know if you're starting to stack. It's going to be a long game, and make sure you get in for the right reasons. So to run this down, reason number 1 as to why a silver stacker stops stacking silver is going to be because the price doesn't rise fast enough. I would say to that, you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you want a quick buck, there's many other high risk assets or investments you can get involved in. I wouldn't say silver's a high risk. It's a long play, because it's not going to drop to nothing, as many people know. It's a long play. They didn't do their due diligence. Once again, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Make sure you do your due diligence when you're getting into this. It's not going to be $5,000 an ounce, or $1,000, or even $100+ an ounce tomorrow because so and so said so. If when you're doing your own research, it's not that hard. Even if you want to hear many different opinions, somebody that's anti-silver and somebody that's pro-silver, it's good to hear what both sides of the coin are saying. Do your research and do your due diligence, and you won't end up getting stuck in the mud. If you purchased in 2011, there's not a lot you can do about that. I would say hold on, but that's me. Everyone has their own situations in life, and we're all at different points in life. Somebody could be a lot older and just want to have their cash and enjoy their cash, and somebody can just be a lot younger and take the risk and liquidate. But I would say the plus to that, I would say, is if you're looking in and you're purchasing now's a fantastic time. We would need to go down into single digit silver, I don't know, sub $9, and sit there for the next 10-11 years for you to even understand the type of pain some people that purchase in 211 are feeling. So hold in there. If there's a silver lining definitely ahead. And then I would say looking at gold being a better buy than silver, I believe the same if I would have purchased, but there's still opportunities. Once again, we've not gone nowhere now, and now's the time to be buying. So and regarding the silver blues, once again, you just need to weather the storm and push through if you're able to. I wouldn't advocate liquidating at a loss, but once again, we're all in different positions in life and different situations in life, so you do whatever's going to make you better. But guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. But once again, please do let me know of any situations or scenarios that you've heard out there as to why somebody stopped stacking silver. Please do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.